Welcome to the inaugural episode of Cooking in the Hills. Today I'm going to show you a fantastic and easy recipe for New York style pizza dough, and then how I decorate it to make this a masterpiece. This recipe creates a flavorful, chewy crust that stands up to the toppings on any menu. In this video, I'm going to cover a few pro tips to ensure that you have great results too. I'll start by letting you know, although this is an easy recipe, it does take some patience and needs to be made a day in advance to allow time for the dough to rest. But trust me, once you make this, you're never going to use another pizza crust recipe or a store-bought crust again. So let's get started. The first pro tip is always use fresh ingredients. Fresh yeast, fresh bread flour, quality water are essential. The most important ingredient obviously is your flour, and I can't stress this enough, you have to use bread flour. Regular all-purpose flour won't work, cake flour won't work. What you'll end up with is a cakey, bready dough that doesn't have that traditional New York style pizza crust. Another pro tip, in order to keep your flour fresher longer, keep it in the freezer, but always make sure and use an airtight container or at least a zipper style freezer bag. Step 1, turn on the oven light. We'll do this first so there's a little time for the interior of the oven to heat up. This pro tip works great when allowing any kind of bread to rise. Starting with the dry ingredients and the star of the show, the bread flour. I'm using a good high quality, high protein bread flour. You will need 2.5 cups. 1 packet or 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant active dry yeast. We'll also be using 1.5 teaspoons of sugar and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Another pro tip is to always warm up the containers that you're going to use. This will keep the mixing bowl from cooling down your water and helping the yeast to activate properly. Next is our wet ingredients. We're going to use 1 cup of warm water, somewhere between 105 and 115 degrees, and 2 tablespoons of a good quality olive oil. First, we're going to get the yeast to bloom by putting together a slurry. We're going to combine 1/2 cup of the flour, the yeast, the sugar, and whisk these to combine. Next, we're going to add the warm water, whisk this to combine, and then cover and let it set for about 20 minutes. It should get nice and bubbly and grow in volume. Next, we'll add the olive oil, salt, and remaining flour and mix this with a wooden spoon. Okay, there are 2 ways you can go here. You can get your daily arm workout by kneading this on a lightly floured surface for about 10 minutes, or you can use a stand mixer to knead the dough with a dough hook for about 8 minutes. I usually start it on speed 1 just to get it started, and then I'll bump it up to speed 2 and let it go for the remaining 8 minutes. When the kneading is complete, form the dough into a ball and place it into a lightly oiled bowl. Now that the dough's in the oven, we'll let it raise for a couple hours. We'll come back and check on it and see how everything's going. After the dough is risen, I'll punch it down and then we'll place it in Ziploc bags to rest at least 24 hours in the fridge. Well, the rest period is an essential part of making the pizza crust. When you give it time to proof or relax, it'll prevent tearing and it makes it a lot easier to roll out. Look out, she's gonna blow. This is crazy. This is just normal. It will really fill up the bag. That's why I double bag it and put one of them turned sideways. And that way, in case that seal breaks, this one will hold, because I have had them blow out and they just open up and come out of the bag. You want to get the dough out of the refrigerator and let it come up to room temperature for probably about an hour. About 20 minutes before you start, you want to preheat the oven. Now my oven goes to 550 degrees. Always set it on your highest temperature possible. This will give you the texture and the chew you're looking for. The hotter you cook it, the quicker the outside gets done and the interior of the crust stays soft and chewy. Now, let's make this beautiful a pizza pie. We're going to roll this dough out on a lightly floured counter, or you can use just your countertops in your kitchen. I'm going to use a 16-inch round pizza pan, so I'm going to roll my dough out to approximately that size.
Non più avrai questi bei panacchini, quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'orecchio quei panacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante. Non chiudrai farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girando, delle belle trovando al riposo, ci sento a dolcino d'amor. Delle belle trovando al riposo, ci sento a dolcino d'amor. Fra guerrieri con perbacco, fra costacchi stretto sacco, schioppo in spalla, sciabla a fianco, collo dritto, uso franco, un gran casco, un gran turbante, molto onor, poco cantante, poco cantante, poco cantante. Ed invece del fandango una...
So you want to bake it for around 10 minutes until the cheese is nice and bubbly, the crust is well done, golden brown, might have a few little black places on it.
al concetto belle turbando al riposo, ma ci sento ad uncino d'amor. Che robino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar, che rubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have anything to add, please visit the comments section and put a comment in there. We'll see you next time on Cooking in the Hills.